Ah, love. What a twisted little game it plays with us, isn't it? The hardest part of letting go of someone you love isn't the absence of them. No, that's too simple, too clean. It's the constant battle between the heart and the mind, between what you want and what you know you must do. The hardest part? It's realizing that love in its rawest form is a double-edged blade. It cuts deep, carves you from the inside out, and leaves a wound that festers long after you've walked away. You think you've escaped, think you've severed the ties, but the truth is, you carry a part of them with you, buried deep within your soul, like a splinter you can't remove. Letting go isn't just about distance or silence. It's about ripping them out of your mind, tearing down the memories, and facing the brutal truth that love alone isn't enough. The hardest part is the war inside you, the war between the comfort of the familiar and the necessity of moving on. Is the voice in your head whispering that maybe, just maybe, you made the wrong choice, that maybe you could have saved it? But deep down, you know the truth. You know that holding on would have destroyed you. And that's the real agony, isn't it? Knowing that love, as beautiful and intoxicating as it is, can also be your undoing. You see, the hardest part of letting go is not the loss of the other person. It's the loss of the version of yourself that existed with them. You've become someone different, haven't you? Someone harder, colder, because you had to be. Love softens you, weakens you, makes you vulnerable in ways you never expected. And when you walk away, when you finally decide to let go, it's like shedding a skin, leaving behind a version of yourself that can no longer survive in this world. It's a rebirth, but it's also a death, and that's what makes it so hard. They'll tell you that time heals, that you'll move on, that you'll forget, but they're wrong. Time doesn't heal. It numbs. It dulls the edges of the pain, but it never truly goes away. The hardest part of letting go is the knowledge that a part of you will always be haunted by what could have been, by the love you left behind. It's a scar that never fully heals, a reminder of your own vulnerability, your own weakness. And you hate it, don't you? You hate that, despite all the logic, all the reasons you had to walk away, there's still a part of you that mourns for what you've lost. But here's the darkest truth of all. The hardest part of letting go is not the pain, but the power it gives you. You become something different, something more dangerous, more calculated. You learn that love is just another vulnerability, another chain that can be used against you. And in that realization, you become harder, colder, more ruthless. You let go, not just because you have to, but because you know that holding on would leave you weak, exposed. Letting go becomes an act of survival, a necessary cruelty you inflict on yourself to ensure that you never fall into that trap again. Love makes you soft, but letting go makes you lethal. It forces you to confront the darkest parts of yourself, the parts that are willing to sacrifice everything, emotion, connection, even happiness, for the sake of control, for the sake of self-preservation. It's a brutal transformation, but one that's required if you're ever going to rise above the pain. You sever the ties, not because you don't care, but because you care too much, and caring is a weakness you can no longer afford.